A lot of people are saying that the bottom is in on BTC and we are likely going to reverse from this area down here. We also have FOMC today, which could be the trigger and the catalyst for BTC moving higher, and alts inevitably would also follow through with that. Now, in this video, I'll be breaking down where I think BTC is going to be going over the next 1 to 2 months, but also long term over the next 6 to 12 months. And I'll go over Ethereum because I've got a lot of questions and comments about why I'm not analyzing the Ethereum charts. And the reason why is because as long as we analyze BTC and see where BTC is going, in theory, all other coins will follow. So if BTCs continue moving to the upside, we see alts, Ethereum, etc. moving to the upside. If BTC comes to the downside, usually what we see is the alts and all other coins move to the downside as well. Therefore, the only actual analysis that you need is to understand where BTC is going to go, and then you can actually forecast all other pairs based on the direction on BTC. Now, just before I jump into the charts and give you my analysis, I had some questions. Some people were asking me, how do I take my scalp entry positions? I never normally show my entries on scalps on YouTube, and I share this normally with my students. Now, if you're interested to understand more about the scalp positions that I take, let me know in the comments below. I can share more information about how I trade the scalp positions. Usually I take around 4 to 5 positions in scalps a week, but I normally don't share this unless it's with my students. And also, if you're interested to become a student, I offer one-to-one mentoringship. So drop a message to me or follow me on Twitter and drop me a message directly and I'll give you a bit more information. Now, I want to break down just very quickly some of the scalp positions that I've been taking over the past month. Again, this information I usually don't share, but I'd be interested to know if you guys are interested in understanding a bit more about the scalp positions. Now, scalp positions are usually on the 1 hour and also on the 15-minute. I'm going to just show you on the 1 hour what I'm looking at. What we can see is a clear break of market structure and bullish order flow down here. That's a great sign because what we want to then be looking at is higher time frame to confirm that we are bullish and the lower time frame to confirm that we can then take our entries. As long as we have alignment on the higher time frame and the lower time frame, we can then look at the execution time frame to take our entries. Now, what we can see down here is break of market structure and bullish PDAs being respected. Here's your fair value gap, respected, moved up, create a new high, came back down into a fair value gap, respected, moved up, create a new high, came back down into the fair value gap, respected, and moved up, and so on and so forth. What we can see down here, and this is one of the entries that I took, and some of my students also took this entry, is we had a clear bullish move to the upside, price sweeps liquidity, and this is very, very important because that's what you want to see. A sweep of liquidity, this is your dealing range down here. Price comes into the discount side of the dealing range, respects the order block down here. Entry number 1, you take down here. Your targets, these highs down here. As price moves up, we come back down, comes into key area, respects it, moves up. Here's your entry number 2 because we come up from here. Price comes back down, sweeps liquidity, and moves up from here. Target, these highs down here. Now, I'm saying targets are these highs down here. These are your initial targets, and you will take partial profits from here. And we will look for a high time frame bias target on the daily time frame. And we would like to take, let's just say, about 40 to 50% around here, and the rest of it will let ride to the top down here. It is another very, very clean entry, which unfortunately I didn't take. Break of market structure, very strong bullish move to the upside. Price comes back down, discount side of this new dealing range. Here's your lows, here's your highs. Respects this fair value gap and order block down here. On the lower time frame, you could have executed and taken a very, very clean entry to the upside down here. Now, obviously, there's much more that goes into just showing what I've just shared with you on the charts right now. But if you are interested to understand a bit more about how I trade based on taking scalp positions, please let me know in the comments below. And if you're interested to understand a bit more about the mentoringship and becoming a student, let me know. I offer one-to-one mentoringship. Drop me a message, send me a message on Twitter, or send me a message down here as well. Okay, let's go into the details of where I am actually looking for BTC to head. Weekly time frame is looking very, very good. First things first is we had this wick, comes up into this fair value gap. Let's just mark on this fair value gap temporarily, into this fair value gap, and rejects it. Next, the week after that, which was last week, we literally filled that wick. Now, what we wanted to see is, number one, a sweep of previous week's highs, which we got. However, I would like to see price move a bit higher from here first, and that's what I'm currently anticipating. Having said that, we have done most of the move we were expecting, the sweep of liquidity for this week, by the way. And what I mean by that is usually we want to see a form of liquidity get swept and then we can see reversals from there. We've seen the sweep of liquidity down here. We could get a pullback, and that pullback could come into a key area down here, and price could then continue moving higher. Inevitably, what I want to see is BTC come into the regions of just below 80K, if not 80K. And that's because we have this dealing range from this high to this low. This is your midpoint of the dealing range. We want to see BTC come into the regions of the premium side of the dealing range. Now, if we continue moving higher from here, we can probably expect BTC to come into the OTE level and also this fair value gap at around 83 to 84K. We could likely move higher from there at around 90K, but I don't think that will happen just yet. So to summarize, what I'm seeing on the bullish side on BTC is if we do close bearish on the weekly time frame below this area down here at 74K, it's likely we're going to get retracement first. And that retracement will come into these regions, come back into this consolidation, which we'll see on the lower time frame. And then we'll get the bigger move to the upside, tapping into the regions of, let's just say, 80 to 83K before we move lower to the downside, which I'll come on to in a second. So that's the first scenario that I'm anticipating on BTC. Now, if we do close above 74K on the weekly time frame, we're likely going to continue moving higher from here. And if you continue moving higher from here, my targets are still the same, around 80 to 83K. And then we'll see a bigger rollover to the downside from there onwards. Now, having said that, what we may get is, so if we do close below on the weekly time frame below 74K, there's a possibility that we can just reverse from here. And that reversal will take out these lows down here. Now, where am I anticipating for BTC to come into? I'm looking at the regions of sub 50K. These are the regions that I'm looking at, and this is where I will be personally accumulating BTC and also Ethereum and some alts as well. Now, looking at the daily time frame very quickly, what we can see down here, here's your sweep of liquidity of the previous week's high, and we have an order block resting above down here. Like I say, I want to see a move to the upside. Ideally, that's what I'd like to see, and I would be taking some positions to the downside from here as a swing position. Most of the information that I give you when I'm taking entries are normally my swing position entries and not my scalp ones. Now, if we do move down from here, where can we come? We've got an inverted fair value gap down here, and that also likely discount side of the dealing range down here. So that's looking very clean as well. So there's a possibility that price can come into the regions of just below 70K to 68K, and we could then continue moving higher from there. Now, that's what I'm seeing right now on BTC on the higher time frame, and that's what I'm anticipating over the next 1 to 2 months. Now, if we look longer term, let's just say over the next 6 months, what I'd like to see is BTC come and take out these lows down here, sweep the liquidity down here, sub 50K, and we'll get the bigger move to the upside. I am still ultra bullish on BTC. Nothing has changed for me. I am still accumulating alts as we move lower from here. And it's very, very important you guys understand this is your accumulation phase and this is where you want to be accumulating. Therefore, for me, nothing has changed. And if we move lower from here, I'll be accumulating more. So my long-term scenario and what I'm thinking is BTC sweeping all of these lows, sweeping this liquidity down here, BTC coming sub 50K, and we'll get the bigger move to the upside, taking out the all-time highs. Now, very quickly on Ethereum before I wrap up, let's start off fresh. So what we can see down here is your dealing range on the higher time frame. Weekly time frame, here's your dealing range. These are your lows, these are your highs. We can see prices deeply in the discount side of the dealing range. We've got a fair value gap down here, which price has tapped into. We also have, if we zoom in just a bit more, there is a fair value gap just below down here, and price has tapped into it and rejected off it down here. We've also swept this liquidity down here, and prices come up. Now, looking to the upside, we can see a fair value gap down here, and we're also in this new dealing range from these lows to these highs. And what we can see on the daily time frame is price has not yet tapped into the premium side of this dealing range. Here's your 50% level. Let's just mark that on very quickly, and we can remove this. Price hasn't yet tapped into the premium side of this dealing range. And what I would like to see, similarly to BTC, is price come into the regions of 2.5K for Ethereum. That's my first target on Ethereum. Now, what we can see down here is Ethereum is outperforming BTC as things stand right now, which is a good and positive sign. Sweep of liquidity, a strong bullish close on the daily time frame down here above these levels of 2,200. It's a very, very good and clear, convincing sign. What I'd like to see is for Ethereum to come into this fair value gap down here, tap into the regions of 2.5K at least, and we may get the bigger rollover to the downside. Now, if we do continue moving up from here, my next target on Ethereum is around 2.7K. That's where I'll be looking. Now, if we get the move to the downside on BTC, it's likely we will get a deeper move to the downside on Ethereum. Apologies, the charts are a bit messy right now. We're likely will come into the regions of 2.1K, and there's a possibility this will be your new dealing range. There's a possibility that we could come into, let's just mark on our fibs, 2.1K or just below 2.1K, where we can take a position to the upside and ride it out to 2.5K. That's what I'm expecting on Ethereum short term. I mean, longer term, over the next 6 to 12 months, what I'm expecting is, let's look at the weekly time frame, a sweep of liquidity to the downside, taking out these lows, taking out the lows down here of 1.7K, possibility of actually it coming sub 1.3K to the downside, and we will get the rally up to the upside from here. Longer term targets I'll go over in the next video. Now, if you like these types of videos, I trade liquidity and market structure. If you're interested to know a bit more, and also my one-to-one mentorship, drop me a message, follow me on Twitter. The Twitter handle is in the description below. So if you're interested, let me know, and I will see you in the next video.